Hey, it's cinefyn, and today I will show you my watercolor process. I will be using this light pencil sketch for this video. Okay, so the first thing that I do is work in layers. I start by adding the lighter colors to then build up the colors until it becomes more dark or the colors become more vibrant. Adding the lighter colors first, it becomes much easier if you make a mistake or aren't satisfied with the color palette you chose, and you can easily paint over it. This brings me to my second point, to always have a color palette. Choose your colors, work around the colors that you chose. It shouldn't be too many colors. Now I like to work with red and brown tones, basically more warm tones, and I try to always find a way that they complement each other so that in the end I do not have a rainbow moment. I like to have a little cheat sheet next to me all the time while I'm drawing so that I can always compare the colors and I can see if they fit the aesthetic that I'm going for. If you have troubles finding your color scheme that you like, go on Pinterest, get inspired. There are many great ideas, or maybe you can just experiment yourself and try everything out. Okay, so I will just give some tips to beginner artists that want to start drawing with watercolors or gouache. You don't need to have anything fancy or expensive. Start by anything that you have and go from there. I would just advise you to get good watercolor paper, because it will be pretty annoying if your paper rolls up when it's wet, or maybe you can use some clips that it won't bend while you are using the wet paint. You know, experiment first and try it out before you decide to invest in more expensive paper or brushes, so that it won't be a waste. Another big tip, especially for beginner artists, is to not be afraid of messiness and the mistakes you make. It's pretty natural, and it is kind of the beauty of watercolor, because you don't really have control over it, and it gives such a beautiful effect in the end though. The cool thing about gouache is that you can reactivate the paint. So if you make a mistake on the first layer, for example, you can just erase it basically. The next tip is to work slowly, have patience, and work with layers, as I already said before. Especially if you start layering your paint, you need to first wait until it's dry, until you can paint over it. I like to have a system with my layering. That means that on the first layer I start to cover all the big shapes, for example the head, the body, and any other objects. Slowly on the next layers I start to give the objects more dimension and more shadows, and I do that so long until I'm satisfied with the overall painting. It always helps to work in shapes and later on add the details, so it won't be overwhelming to you and it's so much easier to draw. The tip that I would give to beginner artists, or any artist basically, is don't get discouraged, have patience again, put effort into anything that you do. If you want to get better at it, you have to put effort and hard work into it, and time, of course. Nothing comes overnight. It all takes time. But also don't forget to have fun with it, enjoy the process, experiment, just do it for yourself. You know, take baby steps and take it slow. You don't need to be perfect overnight. You don't need to be perfect at all. You're fine as you are. Just love what you do, work on what you like to do, and if you want to be great, the first thing is that you need to like what you do. And of course, hard work. All you need to remember is no drama lama and no stress Obama. Alright. A little bonus tip is to outline your work with watercolor and a thin brush. This is what I like to do with most of my watercolor work, because it does give a pretty cool look, and it's cheaper because I don't have to buy a nice fine liner, and it's pretty cool because it does give a more flowy line thickness, and I like it. Yeah, these are all the tips that I have for you today. If you enjoyed this tutorial watercolor process thingy, and if you want to see more of this kind, please comment below so that I know and I can make more. I think that's enough talking of me today. I will now let you go watch the speed paint. If you did like the speed paint and this video, please leave me a like and maybe a comment, and maybe subscribe to see more. Thank you for watching, and I will see you very soon.